Home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com.
This is former Husker and NFL veteran Jay Foreman. Some kids worry about making the team. Others worry about where they'll sleep at night. In Lincoln, over 3,000 kids are at risk of homelessness. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day on Wednesday, May 24th, your gift goes even further. Go to givelincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com. Dive into good times and great savings when you take advantage of the above-ground swimming pool sale happening now at Bonsall Pool & Spa. All in-stock swimming pools are 50% off through the end of May while supplies last. You don't want to miss out on this hot deal. Visit our showroom at 33rd and Pioneers today. Promotion at bonsallpool.com. Bonsall Pool & Spa, every day made better.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is Adam Carriker on the Ticket.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 5-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. Now, every Monday, noon to 1. If you haven't known by now, if you haven't put it together by now, come have lunch and enjoy a little bit of football talk, a little Husker talk, a little Husker sports talk in general. Obviously, I played football, so I tend to swing that way just a smidge, but I'll talk about anything that is Nebraska Huskers related every Monday from noon to 1 p.m. Central. Come have lunch with me every Monday from noon to 1 p.m. Central. A lot of things to talk about. I know the spring game is over, so people kind of tend to, easy for me to say, tend to take a little down period, so to speak. That's not what we do here on Adam Carriker on The Ticket. It's not what we do every Monday from noon to 1. It's not what they do on The Ticket in general. There's always a plethora of things to talk about. Today, I want to talk about the transfer portal. A lot of transfer portal news from a week ago. Casey Thompson. We've enters the transfer portal. Logan Smothers. We have 3 quarterbacks in the transfer portal, which leaves us now with 3 scholarship quarterbacks currently on the team. Could any of those guys potentially come back to the team? Okay, what's that look like depth-wise? What's that look like depth chart-wise? Let's talk about A.J. Allen, a talented running back, young guy coming back from injury, who's got a bright future entering the transfer portal. That running back room is loaded. Is it still loaded? How does that affect us from a talent, overall talent depth, and things of that nature perspective? Stephen Wynn Jr. enters the transfer portal again, the man who transferred here from Alabama. All right, now he's, after a year here with Nebraska, enters the transfer portal again. I'm going to bring on Jordan Westerkamp, one of my personal favorite Huskers of all time, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet as well. He'll be joining me at 12:30. And then we'll wrap up this show talking about some of the Huskers who were drafted this past weekend, Mr. O'Shawn Mathis, Mr. Trey Palmer, and some of the other guys, Vokalek and Nelson, guys who signed contracts as rookie free agents and what their teams, their future teams look like for them. But let's start right off the top. All right, and as always, you can send me your questions. All right, 402-464-5685. I will do my best to answer any and all questions as much as I possibly can each and every week. I want to talk about Casey entering the transfer portal. I did put up a gut reaction. If you missed that on my new YouTube channel over the weekend, go and check it out. I want to talk about Casey entering the transfer portal. But before I do that, make sure you stop by GE Landscape and Supply today through Saturday this week, ladies and gentlemen. Today through Saturday for Spring Landscape Day sales with almost everything on sale. Get 15% off of mulch, 10% off of decorative rock, 20% off flagstone, 25% off decorative cobblestone, 50% off stone edging, and 10% off soil. Save up to 25% rain or shine from today through the 6th at GE Landscape Supply at 6701 Cornhusker Highway for the Spring Landscape Day sale. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right, Casey Thompson entering the transfer portal. Now, it seems kind of silly, but why? Why would he do this? Okay, the obvious answer is quarterback battle. He may or may not be the starter. This was his last chance to play college football. What if he doesn't end up being the starter? How does that affect his NFL dreams? How does that affect anything going forward? There's got to be other schools out there, right, that need a quarterback. There's got to be a landing spot for him. Okay, that's the easy answer. He did chat with Coach Matt Rule, and his dad has come out and said he's not afraid of competition. And I believe that. I truly do. From what I understand, he's simply testing the transfer portal waters. There's a chance he could potentially still come back to the good old Nebraska. You never know what could happen. He's going to test these transfer portal waters. He's going to see what happens. If you're in Casey's shoes, why would you not do this? It only makes sense. College athletes are now also businessmen. Okay, everybody here has to make money. Everybody here has to put food on the table for their families. And I know he may not have a family just yet, but my point is, in some way, shape, or form, just about everybody out there is a businessman or businesswoman in some way, shape, or form. My wife, I'm not just making this up. She's not even going to hear this because she's busy with our younger kids at the moment. So I'm not even getting points for this in my own house. I will readily admit she has a way harder job than I do. What do? I watch Nebraska football. I watch Big Ten football. I talk about Nebraska football. I talk about Big Ten football. Gee, really hard gig, right? No, we have 6 kids. She stays at home and she takes care of the kids, and she sets up our insane schedule, which includes 84,429 youth sports, and I rounded down for that statement right there. She by far has a harder job, but trust me, in some way, shape, or form, she is a businesswoman as well as she's organizing our schedules, as she's helping me with the shows. She does a lot of the technological stuff behind the scenes in some of my shows that I do, whether it be the Chronicles, Carriker Live, whatever. We have wonderful people here at the Ticket. Mr. Rico does a phenomenal job helping me here. I could not do these things without people like that. So in some way, shape, or form, everybody's a businessman or woman to a degree. At some point, Casey Thompson's simply testing the waters. It makes a whole lot of sense from his perspective. All right, now, if he doesn't come back to Nebraska, if he does, that's obvious. We got 2 really good potential starting quarterbacks, great depth, 2 talented guys, multiple talented guys in that room already as well. But if he doesn't, where could he possibly end up? There's a few schools, 2 that stand out to me the most, Florida and Auburn. Now, if he doesn't come back, My gut tells me he'd end up at Florida. Florida's just a better situation right now than Auburn is. All right, SEC, a team that does have talent, okay, trying to get better, obviously, as Nebraska is. But that would probably be where he would end up if he doesn't come back to the Big Red. All right, now, will he be back? That's the question. Let me know. Do you find folks think he will be back? All right, call or text 402-464-5685 and let me know your thoughts. My gut says he's probably going to find a landing spot elsewhere. I want to be clear that is not what I'm rooting for. I would love to have him back here in the Big Red Nation. Okay. And I know he's not afraid to compete, but something just tells me he may end up somewhere else, possibly Florida. But we'll see what happens. It would be pretty phenomenally phenomenal if he'd come back to Big Red Nation after he tests the waters in the transfer portal, but we'll see what happens. All right. Now, as I mentioned before, we had 6 scholarship quarterbacks. Now we're down to 3. 3 quarterbacks currently have their names in the transfer portal. Okay, Casey Thompson and Logan Smothers being 2 of them. Now, what about Logan Smothers? This is a guy that I have been a fan of, honestly, since before he stepped foot on campus. If you remember his recruiting class, he committed over a year before he signed that letter of intent. He was the first committee in his recruiting class, never wavered, okay, never uncommitted, decommitted, went in, just stayed the whole time. Since he's gotten here, he's had to battle and fight with other guys who were brought in that, I don't know if you want to say, and he was fairly heralded. I mean, fairly high recruit, but other guys whose names were talked about more. Since the day he got here, I think is the best way I could put that. And all he's done is battle, not complain. When he's gotten a chance, okay, I remember that Iowa Black Friday game. Coach Frost drew up a great game plan for him, and he played well, okay? And there were a couple times last year when he got in the game. I believe Michigan was one time when he got in, didn't look great. I do believe he was a little banged up that game. But he's a guy that I've just rooted for, just goes about his business, just does his thing, okay? The coaches did mention if he wanted to come back, they would embrace him with open arms. So maybe Logan Smothers is a guy that potentially comes back. That would excite me very much, okay? If Jeff Sims is our starting quarterback, all right, and the other guys that are, and there's other guys, always respect to walk-ons. Whoever steps up and wins that starting job, I do not care. Other guys on scholarship in that quarterback room right now are named Chuba Purdy and Heinrich Harburg. Okay, if Logan came back, that would give us 4 guys. That would give us an individual in Logan Smothers who fits a potential Jeff Sims type offense pretty well. Similar skill sets. Okay, a quarterback who can make plays with his feet, who's dynamic with his legs, who can throw the ball as well. So if Jeff were to be the starter, potentially in this situation, all right, and if Logan were the backup, you could have less trepidations about running with Jeff, because if he gets banged up, who do we bring in that's got a similar skill set? Here comes Logan Smothers. Okay, you could have a backup that can run a very similar offense. And I'm not saying Chuba or Heinrich aren't talented, because Lord knows they are. I hope things start to slow down a little bit for Chuba. You can see he's got physical ability. You can see he's got a big arm. Obviously, his brother is a pretty good player as well, so you know it's in the genes. But they did talk last year about how the game seemed really fast for him at times. He's a young player. That's okay. That's allowed to happen when you're young. Hopefully it slows down. Okay, hopefully it slows down as he gets older for him mentally, and his physical tools that he has can start to take over, rather than the speed of the game right now is kind of obvious what stands out when you watch him play, okay? And he'll mature and he'll develop. Hopefully he can do that sooner rather than later. Okay, you look at Heinrich Harburg. Here's another guy I've been a fan of since the day he stepped on campus. Big frame, big arm, much faster than people think. I watched a practice, I want to say it was about a year and a half ago, about 2 falls ago, and I just happened to, in this particular practice, stick around and watch the quarterbacks after the team broke down. The quarterbacks got together and they ran gassers. And I've shared this story before. If you've heard it, I apologize. Just bear with me. All right. They ran gassers afterwards. Now, it wasn't a ton, so it was a bit of conditioning, but there was also some speed to it. Obviously, the more you run, the more conditioning it is. The less you run, the more it's about speed. Heinrich beat all of the quarterbacks on that particular day, which I believe Adrian Martinez was in that group. I don't remember if Luke McCaffrey was still here or not. I don't believe he was, but I could be wrong. Again, this was at least a year and a half, if not 2 years ago. Heinrich Harburg beat them all in a half gasser. Half gasser is the width of the field and back. So 53 1/3 yards and back. so just over 106 yards. 106 and 2/3 for all you math majors out there, which I was not. Okay, so he's got better legs, better speed than people realize. He's got a big arm, big potential, big ability. Another young guy. Okay, a lot like Purdy, if you will. I don't know if the game moves quite as fast for Harburg mentally as it does for Purdy at this moment in time. But if Logan were to come back, it would put my mind at ease, because if he doesn't and we don't bring in another quarterback, okay, right now we have 3 guys on scholarship. Again, a walk-on could always step up. I'm always looking out for them walk-ons. And I want to talk hopefully with VJack next Monday. He dodged me again this week. He's running scared. I don't blame him. Hope you're doing well, VJack. I hope he joins me next Monday. We can talk about that tight end room. 2 uber talented tight ends, yet it was a walk-on that stood out in the spring game. So I want to talk to the man who's an expert and knows more about tight ends than I could ever imagine, Mr. Vershawn Jackson. Hopefully next Monday, hear about our talented tight end room and who just might actually step up as our top 1 or 2 tight ends. But if you got three quarterbacks on scholarship, okay, and one of your starter is a guy who leads with his legs. Jeff can throw. Okay, he's obviously a pure dual threat quarterback. Casey was a little bit more arm first, but could run when called upon. He had several rushing touchdowns last year. But if you don't have, per se, a backup quarterback that can step right in and run a similar offense, and you got to change things, it makes it harder on your offense, because now you have to run different plays for different quarterbacks, which isn't a bad thing as long as they've got some similar skill sets. But it makes you hesitant, especially if your starter, in this case potentially Jeff Sims, is noticeably better than the next guy in line, your number 2 quarterback. And if he's noticeably better than your number 3 quarterback, it makes you more hesitant to run with your quarterback. And if your quarterback, one of his major strengths is his legs, and you're hesitant to use his legs, obviously it limits your offense. We need someone we can at least step in to be a viable number 2, whether it's Purdy, whether it's Harburg, whether it's someone else, whether it's a transfer portal guy. I don't care. It does not matter to me. What I saw from last year, Casey Thompson was clearly our best quarterback. What I saw from the spring game, now that Casey's in the transfer portal, Jeff Sims is clearly our best quarterback right now. We need somebody, whether that guy's in the room already, whether it's a guy like Smothers and Thompson who comes back to the room, or whether it's a transfer guy who steps up. We need somebody who can step up and either compete for that starting job with Jeff or be a viable number 2, so we can have the full allotment of offense and plays that Matt Rule and Coach Satterfield want to call on offense. We don't have to be limited and worried about getting a banged-up quarterback. Jeff has had some injuries in the past. Okay? Now, next guy I want to talk about, A.J. Allen, hit the transfer portal. We all know this is an insanely talented guy. It was unfortunate he got banged up last fall, had an injury, okay? Coming back from injury. You look at that running backs room. We had 2 rooms that stood out to me as being particularly loaded with talent. Quarterbacks. Matt Rule even said this might be the most talented quarterbacks room he's ever been a part of, and running backs. After that spring game, I sat in this same seat, spoke into this same mic, and looked into the same camera, and I talked about how we have Gabe Ervin, A.J. Allen, Ramir Johnson, okay, Anthony Grant. Almost forgot our leading rusher from a year ago. That would have been a big faux pas on my part. 4 guys who could legit start for just about any Big Ten team, probably 85 to 90% of them. What was going to happen? All right, AJ hits the portal. That's all right. Wish him nothing but the best. All right, you still got Gabe, who Rule has ranted and raved about. You still got Anthony Grant, who was the number 1 junior college player in the entire country 2 years ago, our leading rusher from a year ago. And Ramir Johnson, if you remember from a couple of seasons ago, when that running backs room was banged up, he became the guy and looked really, really good. We still have 3 really good running backs. I would rather have AJ on the team. Let me be very, very clear. But it can almost be a blessing to clear up some space for the guys in that room for this reason. When you have so many talented guys, there's only one football. You got a quarterback with the ball. You got running backs. You got tight ends who want the ball. You got receivers who want the ball. Everybody wants the ball. We can't run the fumble-rooski anymore. Sorry, O-lineman. But when you start to clear out the room a little bit, and again, I'd rather have A.J. Allen on the team, to be clear. But there's always a silver lining. The silver lining is this, and we have other talented running backs in the room, but now Gabe Ervin, Anthony Grant, Ramir Johnson, okay? Those guys can get the ball more, because what happens when you have a lot of talented guys, you get frustration in the room. And the frustration can be contagious. And then it can be contagious in a negative way, and it starts to be frustration throughout the room. Can that possibly transfer over to other position groups and an entire side of the ball? Potentially it's a bit drastic, but now you have at least 3 guys with a whole lot of talent in that running back room, and only 3 guys you're trying to get the ball to, maybe more. We'll see how the fall camp unfolds and who steps up and who doesn't. So maybe it creates a little bit less frustration throughout that room. There can always be a silver lining, no matter how dark the cloud is. Okay, some clouds are darker than others, but there's always a silver lining. Kind of an unsolicited life lesson there, if you will, if you just look for that silver lining. Now, one other thing that's always stood out to me, when you have a bunch of talented guys, okay, punt returners, kick returners, and I know kick returns are kind of been limited in this day and age, but let's say Gabe Ervin and Anthony Grant are our top 2 backs, and Ramir Johnson's not getting as many touches. Or maybe it's Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson, Anthony Grant's not getting as many touches as he wants. You can always put him back as a kick returner. You can always put him back as a punt returner. I would love to see Xavier Betts, an incredibly talented receiver who's trying, and we're all rooting for him, trying to put it together as an all-around player, as an all-around football player, all-around wide receiver. Just get the ball in their hands. Put them back to receive. Punt returns, kick returns. If you've got guys who are talented and you just aren't able to get the ball to everybody, put them back there. Let them do their thing. Get the ball in their hands in special situations. Use their talents and abilities. All right. So the transfer portal, one other guy I want to specifically talk about. We've had other guys that have entered the transfer portal as well. I'm not going to go through each and every single player in this day and age because that's all you talk about. So much love to everybody. Much respect. Best of luck to everybody who's entered the transfer portal. Okay. Maybe some will come back. Maybe some won't. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll be chatting about that each and every week here on Adam Carriker on the Ticket on Mondays from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. One other guy I do want to specifically talk about, defensive lineman, Stephen Wynn. Now, this was a 4-star recruit out of IMG Academy coming out of high school. You probably heard all this when he transferred to Nebraska a year ago. Heralded recruit. Spent his first 4 seasons at Alabama. Chose Bama, the Crimson Tide. For some reason, their mascot's an elephant. I don't know why. He chose them over Clemson and Georgia. All right. During his 4 years at Bama, he had 16 tackles. During his season a year ago with the Big Red, he had 22 tackles. So this was a guy that contributed with playing time on the field. Very talented. I don't know that I would really call him a dominant type player at this point. Okay. Why he entered I think some people were surprised to see him enter the portal. I was as well. Whenever a guy transfers more than once, I think it's a little bit surprising sometimes. When you see a guy who probably was going to see more playing time next year and they choose to test the waters elsewhere, I think it's a surprise for people. When it comes to Stephen Wynn, why would he test the waters again? This is a big man. This is a talented man, an athletic man. I think most likely, I have not spoken with him, but my best educated guess, I can't even say educated anymore. I always just naturally say educated. I said it one time on the Chronicles, and now it just comes out that way. So my best educated guess is he most likely didn't think he'd be a major contributor in a 3-3-5 type defense. Okay, that is being a former D lineman, looking at the 3-3-5. That is kind of what stands out to me just a smidge as to why he may be testing the waters elsewhere. I know when I spoke to Garrett Nelson, when I interviewed him back in January, he said he'd met with Coach Rule, and maybe the 3-3-5 wasn't the best for his entire skill set, which is probably part of the reason he ended up going to the NFL. We're going to talk about him a little bit later on in this show. Again, Garrett Nelson, one of my favorite Huskers that I've ever watched of all time. I'll never forget when he first committed to Nebraska. I interviewed him. It was like 24, 48 hours after he'd committed. And I had asked a couple of players who had Wandale Robinson was a guy I'd asked. I had talked to right away after they committed. And I always ask him the same question. What's the first thing you're going to do when you get on campus? And Wandale gave a great answer. Said, I've never had a Runza. I keep hearing about Runza. I'm going to go eat Runza. When he did it, he actually took a picture and tweeted it to me. All right. What Garrett Nelson said, again, there's no wrong answers here. But his answer was, I'm going to go get a workout in. First thing I'm going to do when I get on campus, I'm going to go get a workout in. I love that. That was a great answer. Runza's not a bad answer either. All right. Stephen Wynn Jr., very big, athletic, talented defensive lineman. I am curious to see where he lands and see if he can start to reach his full potential, hopefully, in the near future. Now, I have a couple of quick questions that I want to get to real quick. Jace B., do you think if Smothers comes back that Casey definitely doesn't come back and vice versa? Yes. I think if Smothers comes back, Casey won't come back. If Casey comes back, some others won't. I'd be shocked to see them both come back. I would love if one of them would come back. Notorious B.I.B. Then we got to hit the commercial break, pay a couple of bills here. All right, Notorious B.I.B. Do you think Harburg could possibly be useful as a tight end or receiver? So I've heard him having a potential position change has been chatted about just a smidge. Tight end, I don't know. Receiver, possibly. The dude's got a big arm. Give him a chance at quarterback. Those are just my thoughts. All right, don't go anywhere. I'm bringing back the man who had not one, but two of the most well-known catches in Nebraska football history. Mr. Jordan Westerkamp will join me after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
They say that April showers bring May flowers, but May delivers a lot more than that at GE Landscape Supply. Stop by for the Spring Landscape Days sale with almost everything on sale. Get 15% off of mulch, 10% off decorative rock, 20% off of flagstone, 25% off of decorative cobblestone, 15% off of stone edging, and 10% off soils. Save up to 25% rain or shine from May 1st through the 6th at GE Landscape Supply for the Spring Landscape Days sale. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting to fill, and we have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks. All trim levels have up to $4,000 in discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel, so do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck, so stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with Roof Credit.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Dive into good times and great savings when you take advantage of the above-ground swimming pool sale happening now at Bonzal Pool & Spa. All in-stock swimming pools are 50% off through the end of May while supplies last. You don't want to miss out on this hot deal. Visit our showroom at 33rd and Pioneers today. Learn more about the promotion at bonzalpool.com. Bonzal Pool & Spa, every day made better.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny skies. It will still be a little windy, though, today, as north winds could gust over 30. We'll be looking at an afternoon high of around 63. Clear skies tonight, a little cool with a low down to around 35. Not quite as windy tomorrow, sunny and a little warmer. We should see a high of around 66. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder, every Monday from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time, come join Adam Carriker on The Ticket. Have lunch with me. And hopefully I say something intelligente at some point during that hour once a week. All right. Before I bring on my guest, Mr. Jordan Westerkamp, remember, stop by GE Landscape Supply today through Saturday this week, ladies and gentlemen, for the Spring Landscape Day sale with almost everything on a sale. Get 50% off mulch, 10% off decorative rock, 20% off of flagstone, 25% off decorative cobblestone, 15% off stone edging, and 10% off of soils. Now, I want to bring on my guest, Mr. Jordan Westerkamp. How you doing, my friend?
Adam, I'm doing awesome, man. Appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you taking the time. Question. I just got done talking about the transfer portal, some of the Huskers who've entered the transfer portal. Now, this is obviously post my playing days, post your playing days. Your playing days were a little bit more recent. But had this been a thing, and you can be honest, I know you will be, because there was a particular game where I wasn't thrilled after the game, and for about 48 hours, I've never shared this before, I thought about entering what did not exist. What was the transfer portal did not exist back then, but 48 hours, I cooled off, chilled out, and I never thought about leaving again because Nebraska's freaking awesome. But was there ever a point during your time at Nebraska where the thought even entered your mind for 1/10 of a millisecond, hey, what else is out there?
Yeah, like you said, time was different when we were both playing, and it's amazing how this transfer portal's blown up and the amount of guys now can go anywhere and they don't have to sit out anymore. They can go and they can play right away. It's crazy. So it's tough to answer that because I'm not in that scenario. And it's tough for me to think back on that. I don't remember any particular time where it entered my mind. Now, my parents, maybe a little different. Maybe there were some games where they were mad. They go, he didn't play enough or whatever. He should have played more, and maybe it entered their mind. But never my mind in particular where I was like, hey, maybe this isn't the place for me. I had right before I came to Nebraska, I had a little change up, a little curveball thrown at me where Notre Dame came out of the blue and offered me, and I'd already been committed to Nebraska, but even through that, I held my commitment and didn't waver, and I was true to Nebraska. And even with my time at Nebraska, it was true to my time there and true to my commitment. Never crossed my mind. Now I understand how crazy the transfer portal is now, so it's tough for me to say because I wasn't in that environment. It could have been different.
Parents that are upset with the kids' playtime. I don't think that's ever happened in history. That's the first time I'm ever hearing of this. I didn't know parents ever did that. Dude, I live in a world of youth sports. Oh my gosh, that is a whole thing unto its own. But here's what I want to do. I do want to go back in time just a smidge. All right, and I know you've been asked about this before, but I've never had you on this show, on this radio station. So I want to ask you about it right here, right now. August 30th, you guys are beating 2014. You guys are beating Florida Atlantic 31-7. Tommy Armstrong drops back to pass, throws a pass, and this little-known guy, a youngster named Jordan Westerkamp, makes a behind-the-back catch. What was going through your mind while that ball was in the air and you were doing what I can only describe as a basketball drill that I used to do when I was a kid, putting the ball around my waist and behind my back? When that catch was going on, what was going through your mind?
Right, it happened so fast in our offense at the time with Coach Tim back kind of at the helm, running the offense, and Coach Pelini was the head coach. We were so fast paced. So I made the play. I had a split second of like, oh man, what the hell just happened? But in my head, it was, let's get lined up. It's ready to go. Next play, next play, next play, next play. So we fired to get lined up, and they blew the whistle dead and whatnot. And in my head, like I knew I caught it. I knew I was inbounds because when I caught the ball, I was looking down at my feet, and I think I got 2. I may have pitter patter it and gotten 3 feet inbounds there, but it happened so fast, and it was just a reaction. It was just a natural reaction for me because, wide receiver throughout all of youth football and high school football. And I'm very lucky that my father was my receiver coach for so long. We would always do like crazy catch drill before practice, at the end of practice, just put it wherever, just make the catch however you can. And I'm sure there was times where it happened like that, or maybe I caught it behind my back, but so it wasn't like a foreign position for me to be in. It was just catch the ball any means necessary.
So it's kind of like you had repped similar situations. If Odell Beckham, is known for the one-hand catch all those years ago on Sunday or Monday Night Football, whatever it was, and I know he's done it a time or two since, but if you ever watch that guy in pregame warmups, I don't think he catches a single ball with 2 hands. All he does is one-hand catch like every freaking pass that is thrown to him. Now, I want to go to another point in time. All right. 0.04 seconds left, fourth quarter versus Northwestern. Ron Kellogg, the quarterback, throws the ball from around our 40-yard line, give or take, nearly 60 yards in the air into a crowd of Northwestern players with a couple of Huskers there. All right, the ball bounces in the air, and you catch it for the game-winning touchdown. What was that feeling like?
Well, that was unbelievable, and it was my first, college touchdown. So to start off that way, set the bar pretty high. I was able to come back this following year and have that other pretty cool play with behind the back. But it was awesome, and it was cool that it happened against a team I'm super familiar with. I had teammates that I went to high school with that were on the team. I was very close with Coach Fitzgerald as he recruited me so hard. With me being from Illinois, those guys, they don't want to lose their in-state guys. So it was pretty cool, unique moment. Unforgettable. I'll never that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And very fortunate to be on the receiving side of that. And I'm very thankful for that. Everybody in that position there kind of moved up in front of the goal line and just left me by myself in the back. So it just worked out perfect. And again, just very fortunate situation. And I'm glad I was able to make the play.
Now, out of curiosity, obviously Nebraska was number 1 for you, but you and Northwestern, you had some ties there. You just talked about all that, being from Illinois and all that good stuff. And Notre Dame came in and made a late push. All right, Nebraska was number 1. Just out of curiosity, who was your number 2 school on the list?
Yeah, so I committed to Nebraska pretty darn early. I committed as a junior in high school, and it was right after I went to a spring game, the spring game, and it blew me off my feet. It was the coolest thing in the world. 60,000 plus fans back in 2011. I know they just had the 66 or something for this past scrimmage here a couple weeks ago. It's truly unbelievable how awesome Husker Nation is and the fans are. But my number 2 was probably, and I'm trying to think back now because again I committed darn early, but probably Michigan State or Minnesota. Northwestern was up there. Notre Dame, obviously, they came late, and that became my number 2 because I growing up, went to a Catholic high school, and from the Midwest, like Notre Dame is the school. So had a lot of connections there, a lot of family members that big fans of Notre Dame, and so that was pretty cool. But at the end of the day, like I said, this transfer portal is crazy now. I stayed true to Nebraska and my commitment. I just love Nebraska. I love the coaching staff. I loved everything about it, and it blew me off my feet. And I knew Nebraska was the place for me.
All right, last thing about things that are behind us, and I want to talk about things that are present and even ahead of us. Last question about the catch or the catches. Which catch is more impressive to you, and which catch are you asked about more often to this day?
Ooh, that's a tough question. More impressive, I think, about just the behind the back catch, because I don't know if it's ever happened before in college football, and I might be wrong. I'm not sure, but the fact that I was able to catch it behind the back and keep my feet in, and getting 2 feet in, which makes it good at the NFL level. That probably to me was more skillful. The Hail Mary, you see that a little bit more often, but again, it's still pretty rare. So both pretty cool catches. Very lucky to have both those on my resume. But at the end of the day, probably the more skillful one was behind the back, because I had to get my feet in bounds as well.
Now, Billy Kemp has really stood out this spring. Current Husker wide receiver, looked good in the spring game.
Yep.
So far, it looks like the best receiver we have at this moment in time. Now, your games aren't exactly the same, but I see some similarities. He's 5'9", listed as 180, 185. You were 6 foot, listed around 195, give or take. All right. What has helped him so far to stand out as a wide receiver for the Big Reds so far this spring and this offseason? What's he do well?
Yeah, so he's another guy who I believe he was a transfer, right? Right? He was a transfer?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think he's just staying true to himself, and it's tough now for me because as I get older, I'm officially old now. But as I get older, the guys that I were familiar with when I was with my time in Nebraska, they're starting to, like that last freshman class when I was a senior, and there were some extra years added because of COVID. I'm starting to become unfamiliar with some of these names. Then you add in the transfer portal. It's pretty tough to keep up with it. I'm pretty sure I just saw the other day that Casey Thompson's name was thrown into that as well. It's just It's crazy. But for Billy, yeah, he looked good in the spring game, and I know they keep the spring game super bland. They don't want to show too much. And the run game to me stood out. But yeah, he made some plays, and it'll just be interesting to see how these guys, these young guys, and Nebraska, what their identity is going to look like. Come September and game 1, and we actually get to see it live in action against a different team in true competition.
All right, man, let's have some fun. Give me a way. We don't even know who's going to be all in the quarterback room. We don't even know who all's going to be, because guys are going to transfer in, transfer out. So we're just going to have some fun, and then I'm going to hold you to this until the end of time. Way too early record prediction for Nebraska this fall. What you got, Jordan?
All right. Well, they open up Minnesota. That's a tough one.
Yep. Colorado. Hold on. Who's going to win the Nebraska-Colorado game? Let's start with that. Who's going to win that game?
Northern Illinois recently in the past too. So none of those games are cupcake games. That's tough. Louisiana Tech, we should pull that one out. Michigan, that's going to be tough. Illinois is not easy. Northwestern, rough season last year. Expect them to be a little bit better. Purdue's not terrible. Michigan State's rough season last year, but again, it's Big Ten football. They're not bad. Maryland, we should be okay with Maryland. Wisconsin's going to be tough. We beat Iowa last year, but that'll be another tough game. Man, that's not an easy schedule. Add in transfer portal, losing some key guys, new head coach, new staff. I want to be optimistic, but I'm also realistic. It's tough. It's going to be. I don't know. Maybe people might not like this, but I mean, man, I would. If we get 4, 5, 6 wins, I'm happy with that. Of the bowl game, right? You need six wins. It's going to be a tough schedule, and you add in all those ingredients into the pot. It's going to be real tough. Normally, you get that. And Adam, you understand this. With the new head coach, there's usually a transition year. The next season generally doesn't go very, very, very well. But we'll see. prove me wrong. I'm hoping for the best, but you don't know. And right now, looking at the schedule, transfer portal, losing key guys, new staff, I'm saying 6 wins would be a great season for them.
I think most people would be happy with that. Just get back to a bowl game, something we took for granted for 40-plus years. Let's just get back to that bowl game. Hopefully 85 players don't opt out of that game. Bad joke alert, I know. But let's just get to the point where they got to make that bowl game decision. All right. I think you missed me earlier, so help me out with this game specifically. Colorado, Nebraska. Who wins that specific game?
Yeah, I can't wait for that game because that's there's a lot of history with that. But Deion Sanders over there, the head coach, and he's he's been a little bit of a tornado. I know that
a little bit.
There's been 50+ guys in the transfer portal or something. Or
they're going to set a record that may never be broken. But go ahead.
Right, exactly. So I don't know what's going on over there. He might be doing a little bit too much, but I don't know. That to me is that to me is the biggest question mark game of the year because new staffs, both schools. Deion's causing a like I said, a little tornado hurricane over there, and guys are heading out. I'm sure they'll get more guys transferred in. The Nebraska new coaching staff. I think it's going to be kind of an even playing field going into that game. That's at Colorado, correct?
Yep. And I'm gonna make you pick a team, man. I don't even care who you pick. Just pick one, my man. Who you got?
I'm taking Nebraska. Nebraska all day. I'll always pick Nebraska, no matter what. Even if I don't think they're gonna. At the end of the day, I'm always taking Nebraska.
I like when you were.
That'll be a fun game. That'll be fun. Like I said, there's a lot of history between the two programs. That'll be an awesome game to tune into and to watch.
Dude, that's going to be entertaining. And I liked when you were kind of going through the schedule instead of saying, I think we're going to lose. Like you'd be like, oh, that's a tough game. Like Wisconsin or Michigan, that's a tough game. But you wouldn't say, I think we're going to lose. I love that about you. Last question I got for you. What are you doing now? I know you've started a new business. Let the folks know, find folks at home, know what you're doing now and where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of football, I've kind of gotten into the sports performance aspect of things. So I opened up my own sports performance facility in Wheaton, Illinois. We take all athletes looking to get faster, jump higher, quicker, more athletic, increase their speed, agility, all that good stuff. We've got great programs. Our grand opening was about a month and a half ago. So we're brand new. We're doing real well, and we love what we do, and I love what I do, and I had my certain paths that took me to where I am now, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I have now and to be able to give back and help athletes. So if you're looking to get in and do some training, work on speed, agility, strength, power, and you're in the Chicago-ish area of western suburbs, please reach out, and we look forward to seeing you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Jordan, go check out Jordan's new endeavor, strength and conditioning. Get bigger, faster, stronger, better looking. He guarantees results. I'm just kidding, but he does a great job. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com.
Spring is here, and Acres has special financing on all John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Get your yard looking great and use John Deere's wide selection of attachments to landscape your property to perfection. And for a limited time, with a purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Acres, solutions for every field.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com. It's April, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
They say that April showers bring May flowers, but May delivers a lot more than that at GE Landscape Supply. Stop by for the Spring Landscape Days sale with almost everything on sale. Get 15% off of mulch, 10% off decorative rock, 20% off of flagstone, 25% off of decorative cobblestone, 15% off of stone edging, and 10% off soils. Save up to 25% rain or shine from May 1st through the 6th at GE Landscape Supply for the Spring Landscape Days sale. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
For great views, go to Kansas. For unforgettable views of action-packed racing, go to Kansas Speedway. With a premier facility that gives fans what they want, how they want to see it. And with a Saturday doubleheader, a Sunday Cup Series race, and great deals on kids' tickets, the views will get better all weekend long. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 6th and 7th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
For 75 years, Cedars has been a refuge for children in need, providing kids with safety, stability, and enduring family relationships. Learn more about the organization and how to be part of it every Thursday night from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Cedars Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the fourth quarter, the final drive, the final rundown here on the fastest hour on radio in the state of Nebraska each and every week here on Adam Carriker on The Ticket from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time every Monday. Real quick, remember, you can save up to 25% rain or shine from today through the 6th. By the way, it's my birthday. Random side note, at GE Landscape Supply at 6701 Cornhusker Highway for the Spring Landscape Day sale. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'll also be accepting all birthday presents thrown my way. I will reject none and receive all. Now, let's talk about some of the Huskers who were drafted and or signed free agent contracts via the NFL draft this past weekend. All right, O'Shawn Mathis and Trey Palmer were both taken in the 6th round. O'Shawn just a couple of picks before Trey. Now, I think even myself, I was a smidge surprised that Trey wasn't taken a little bit sooner. This is a guy who was the number 2 wide receiver in the entire country coming out of high school. He was the fastest wide receiver at the NFL Combine. He can absolutely take the top off of defenses with his speed, as we saw over and over and over this entire last season. He has elite speed, elite talent, and elite ability. So I couldn't help but, first of all, congratulations. Getting drafted is a phenomenal thing. So that is a phenomenal thing to reiterate. Now, I was a little bit surprised he wasn't taken even sooner because he has that type of ability and speed and is a nightmare for defensive coordinators when he can stretch the field like that, way more so than your typical average receiver. If you're in the NFL, you're not average, but average for by NFL receiver standards. I think what NFL teams want to see, so at LSU, he didn't quite put up the same stats as he did at Nebraska. NFL teams like to see it more than 1 year, all right? Trey did some big things here at Nebraska. He had some big plays at LSU. They want to see consistency over a period of time. I know that matters to teams, okay? Also, I think teams want to see, and obviously Trey can do this. He has the ability, talent, potential to do just about anything, all right? The question is, will he get there? I'm rooting for him, obviously, as we all are. Can he be more consistent beyond just the big play? Can he, like, his route running be a little bit crisper? Can he catch the intermediate passes? Is he willing to go over the middle? Can he be consistent down in and down out? Is he more than just an over-the-top big play type receiver? I believe that he can be. Absolutely, 100%. When you got that type of ability, that transfers to everything. Okay? I think NFL teams want to see if he will do it. I'll be keeping my eye on that. Now, O'Shawn Mathis was drafted, edge rusher, via TCU, transferred to Nebraska, now taken in the NFL draft in the 6th round. Just a couple of picks before Trey, which, I mean, no disrespect to O'Shawn. I kind of thought Trey would be the first Husker drafted. When you look at, it was just a couple of picks. When you look at O'Shawn being taken just a smidge before Trey, part of what entered my mind, a lot of times I just think out loud and speak. I try to think before I speak sometimes. Occasionally, my wife tells me I should do it more. But the first thought that entered my head was, O'Shawn went ahead of Trey. I think that tells you what kind of ability O'Shawn has. And if you look at what he did at TCU, he didn't quite have the same results as past year at the University of Nebraska. Still played a lot of downs, a lot of football for us. Okay. But if you watch him on film, you can see the type of ability and potential he has. And a value was placed on quarterbacks, guys who can protect the quarterback, and guys who can get after the quarterback. So edge rusher is easily one of the top 2 or 3 most valued positions that there are in the entire NFL. I would say cornerback, people who can cover wide receivers one-on-one, would be up in the top 4 as well as the top 4 most valued positions. Quarterbacks who can protect them, who can get after them, and who can cover wide receivers one-on-one. So I think that's why O'Shawn, along with his ability and what he's shown in the past and what he can potentially do, is why he was taken where he was. And congratulations and shout out to him. I can't wait to watch and see what he does in the future as well. All right. Some of the guys who signed NFL contracts as free agents. Tight end Travis Vokolek with the Baltimore Ravens. This is a big dude. It's not very often I meet a guy and I'm like, whoa, you're big. That just, I mean, I was 6'6", depending on when you look at my career, anywhere from 270 as a sophomore in college all the way up to 320 one day with Washington. I immediately got back down to 305. That was way too heavy for me. But it's not very often I meet somebody I'm like, whoa, that dude's big. Travis Vokolek is a gigantic target who can potentially be a good blocking tight end as well. Linebacker Chris Kolerovic with the Bears. You got wide receiver Oliver Martin, who, if I recall, was a 4-star out of high school. All right, with the Jaguars, a guy who's got ability, potential, got banged up from time to time here at Nebraska. Hopefully he can stay healthy because he can put some things together if he's able to do so. Another edge rusher, Caleb Tanner, a guy who played a lot of football here at the University of Nebraska. And he was another guy who's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent. Curious to see what he can put together. He can absolutely make an NFL roster. Going to be keeping my eye on him. All right, Martin was with the Jaguars. I forgot to mention that. I believe edge rusher Caleb Tanner signed with the Jets, Jets. I'm not a Jets fan. I just like that chant. All right, edge rusher Garrett Nelson signed with the Dolphins. Already mentioned this earlier. One of my favorite Huskers to watch, just a guy who's fun to be around. This is a guy that you bring into your locker room beyond what he can do on the football field, because, I talked earlier about guys potentially not getting the football on offense because there's only one football and a lot of guys who want it, potentially frustration reverberating through a position room or parts of the locker room. A guy with the fire and attitude and the effort and the mentality of a Garrett Nelson, that reverberates through a locker room as well in an insanely, infectiously positive way. So you bring a guy like Garrett Nelson into your locker room for reasons like that as well. Long snapper Brady Weiss with the Texans. Now, long snappers, they're like the unsung heroes. Nobody pays attention to them, and nobody really gives them their just due. You've got to make a perfect snap time after time after time. A lot of times, you got to block afterwards, but you got guys who are much bigger than you. Sometimes you got to hit, you got to block, you got to do it with the game on the line. If it's a field goal, backed up in the end zone, if it's a punt, and you don't get credit unless it's one of the few times you mess up, and then you get the credit you don't want. So these guys are kind of like the unsung heroes, and these guys can easily have 10, 15 plus year careers in the NFL. This is a valued position, a position that's overlooked, a position that's a lot harder than you might think. I had way too many coaches try to make me a long snapper. That's a story I'll share more in depth in another day. I didn't understand that. Do I look like a freaking long snapper? Everywhere I went, high school, Nebraska, Rams, DC. Why does everyone want to make me a long snapper? I didn't get it. Maybe I'd have bought into it a little bit better. I'd still be playing. Who knows? All right. I won't run over too much. Stay tuned to the ticket. More great content coming, and I'll see you fine folks next week. Until then, go big, Red Nose. Remember.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Red.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In baseball, on Tuesday, April 25th, Lincoln Southeast would fall to Columbus 3-1. Lincoln High beat Omaha South 5-2. Austin Jurgens would lead the Lynx, racking up 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Lincoln Northeast won over Fremont 7-6. Fremont would score 5 runs at the top of the 7th, but it still wasn't enough to get the win over Northeast. And Lincoln Pius 10th won over Waverly 8-5. Switching to girls soccer for Tuesday's games, Lincoln North Star was shut out by Columbus, losing 3-0. Lincoln East dominated over Kearney, winning 4-0, and Schuyler won over Lincoln Northwest 3-1. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Dive into good times and great savings when you take advantage of the above-ground swimming pool sale happening now at Bonsall Pool and Spa. All in-stock swimming pools are 50% off through the end of May while supplies last. You don't want to miss out on this hot deal. Visit our showroom at 33rd and Pioneers today. Learn more about the promotion at bonsallpool.com. Bonsall Pool and Spa, every day made better.
They say that April showers bring May flowers, but May delivers a lot more than that at GE Landscape Supply. Stop by for the Spring Landscape Days sale with almost everything on sale. Get 15% off of mulch, 10% off decorative rock, 20% off of flagstone, 25% off of decorative cobblestone, 15% off of stone edging, and 10% off soils. Save up to 25% rain or shine from May 1st through the 6th at GE Landscape Supply for the Spring Landscape Days sale. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs,